interesting, remember to take detailed notes.
ホープのコレクション。なんすかそれ。ホープと話す。はい。
Jesse, you're back. So
嬉
did
し
you
そう。
find anything noteworthy? The original Bureau expedition down here
楽し
left so
そ
much
う。いや、今
interesting
それ
stuff
どころ
behind.
じゃないんだけどな。
Like their ID cards.
あ
I picked up a weird one. It's pretty old. Oh wow, look at that. Yeah, I found a few ID cards
あ。ホー
myself.
プ好きそうだな。
More accurately, the Rangers found them for me.
はいは
Are
い。
you starting a collection? I'm going for the whole set. I kid, of course.
はいはい。
But I suppose they are sort of like baseball cards, except for
野
Bureau stuff from the 60s.
球カードみたいなもの
The
として
one you
扱ってい
found
いの
is
か。
different than mine. It looks like it's a higher clearance level. A rare one, then. Want to keep it, Emily?
レアカードか。
Yeah, I absolutely do. But I think you should hang on to it for now. High clearance access might come in handy.
ああ、確かにね。
Sounds like you have something in mind. Guilty. See, I've been going through Dr. Ash's notes, or the ones I can find, anyway. Like Darling, he seemed to enjoy hiding his most relevant research. From what I gather, there is another floor beneath the warehouse with a special lab that requires 5 high-level staff members just to access. Here, take this. It's an old skeleton key. Something else the Rangers found. I give them $5 for every useful trinket they bring me. I'm gonna assume this key is my ticket to that lower floor. And that super secret lab you mentioned. Bingo bango, as Dr. Darling used to say. Well, keep your eyes peeled for more ID cards around the warehouse. If Ash's notes are reliable, and I'm sure they are, then 5 is the magic number.
5枚
The
目ぐらい
Rangers
に
have tapped into an old radio network they found around the Foundation. So if you need backup, just call them at one of the stations. How did the Hiss get into the Foundation? Same way we did, I imagine. But you need to remember that the Hiss are the embodiment of persistence. Their nature seems to be one of force, to find every possible vulnerability and exploit it. Their only goal is consumption. I'm sure there's plenty of goodies for them down here. The nail, for instance. If the Hiss could corrupt the nail, I'm sure they would have by now. It must not interest them in its broken state. They could be distracted by the numerous unknown paranatural materials I'm sure are lying around. These are the roots of the oldest house. The Hiss will find plenty of ways to make trouble. They're pretty good at that.
アストラルの流入。
So you've never heard of the Foundation, huh? I've never even seen the name referenced. Clearly it's highly classified, but
あ、そうなん
for
だ。
what reason? The problem with these kinds of closed-off hidden areas is that they were likely sealed for good reason. But now no one is left to tell us what that reason was. Any guesses why the Bureau would hide something like this? I only know what I've observed. This place is spatially rigid, which means it doesn't shift like the rest of the oldest house. Before you ask why that is, I have to admit that I'm clueless. There's some signal interfering with my equipment, making it hard to get a clear reading. It's being emitted from the floor. Maybe I should have brought a jackhammer. The astral plane is already taking chunks out of this place, Emily. Let's not add to it. So let me get this straight. The astral plane is bleeding into the Foundation. Correct. And that's happening because the nail is damaged. I'd say it's a bit more than damaged, but yes, that is my understanding. So, what's the connection between the nail and the astral plane? It's a good question. See, I always pictured objects of power as strings between our plane and the astral. If the nail has a similar relationship, then maybe it's more accurate to think of it like plumbing. Now that the nail is busted, sewage is gushing everywhere.
Not the prettiest metaphor.
I should get back out there. Agreed. The astral bleed won't stop itself.
ちょっと1枚だし探すか頑張って。あ、これであれか、最後の1枚か。ID カードを使ってエレベーターにアクセスする。 もう一回 ID カード集めなきゃいけないのか。1、2、3枚ぐらい集めたか。ここまでもう一回行き直しは相当めんどくさいな。あったな、こんなの。よし。さてと。申請拒否？ダッシュ博士、発掘職員主任として研究チームを支えることが仕事。砂の研究のプロジェクトに必要な機械を入れました。ですが、職員の安全を確保するのも私の責任。解体したブルドーザーを持ってくるにどんぐらいかかったかと、何人犠牲が出たかと、軽量の軍事用ヘリを柱の調査のために使いたい。このおもちゃのせいでどれだけの時間、資源、労力、そして血が消費されるか考えもしなかったでしょうか。そうね、現場の人間マジで死にそうだからな。危ないよ。これは銃か。ああ、セキュリティチーフ銃だから設計図っぽいもの地図だから、これかな。これなんだ、ファイル工具か。工具は、これとか。これあれか。なんか、旗とかついてか。これがなんかヘッドオブなんちゃらか。これか。意味はよくわかってないけど、多分。これなんだっけ？これは残り？あ、これでいいのか。めっちゃエレベータースッと来たな。こっちか。どこ行くって？地下研究所。あ、これがあれか。隠された。あれ変なところで止まっちゃった？地下研究所。これ止まるんだ、途中で。知らなかった。鳥だらけ。でも、ダーリング博士の研究所より整頓されてるから、ひでえな。まあ、そうね。博士のとこ、なんか、砂まみれだったもんな。なんだこれ。ピッて。なんか意味あんのか、これ。とりあえず片っ端から押せるもんは押していこう。なんか他には別段なさそうだな。とりあえずこれはいけんのか。あ、もういけるのか。何に使うのこの扉。はいはい。ですか。倒せた。ギリギリだけど。回復できるだけしよう。で、何があんの奥には。
This looks like a nail, only mini.
ミニネイル。なんかあるけど。
A document.
あ、なんか今。
Is this in some kind of code? I can't write a word of it. I should take this back to Emily and tell her I got into Ash's secret lab.
これ読める系じゃないのか。 ちは読めるやつか。ノースモア。連邦捜査局の局長として偉大なるボードの権限により選定された代表として、基盤職員全員に発せられたこれまでのメモにある通り、すべての職員はハウスの上層階へ即座に再配置される。キデを除く全員がすでに命令に従い移動を完了させている。お父さんが亡くなったからここで研究したいってなってたのか。けど、早く行けと。さっさと移動しろと。そういうことね。まあ、切ない話ではあるけどしょうがないよな。別に何でもないのか。行けたよって言うだけでいいんだ。行ってきましたよ。
I found Ash's secret lab. Excellent. Please tell me everything. Spare no details. Well, there was another cave. The walls were covered in paintings of eyeballs. The research seemed dedicated to studying a kinda smaller version of the nail. It looked like the same material as the one up here, but just a different shape. Well, are you sure you didn't see any functioning prototypes? Or at least some schematics?
設計図っぽいなった
Dr.
気も
Ash
する
was
け
a
ど。
very accomplished engineer. None. Sorry.
なんもなかった。
I did find this handwritten note.
そうだ、メモを拾ったっけ。
Wow. Ash had terrible handwriting. Never meet your heroes, right? So it looks like a transcribed conversation between Ash and someone named F. Ooh. Oh, this is juicy. It'll take me days to parse out.
もらえたっぽいな。
Maybe weeks. Have you ever thought about taking a vacation? Are you
確かに
kidding?
な。
This is my vacation, Jesse.
すげえわ。マジモンの仕事人間だわ。
Crystals, cave paintings, rust-filled sand. This place is a research gold mine.
そういう人もいるし、これはこれで幸せだと思う。
Agreed. The astral bleed won't stop itself.
まあ別に人に迷惑かけてるわけでもないしな。